Major hubs with ground stops like ATL can cause ripple effect delays down the line. So we're glad that was very short-lived this morning. Welcome back in to the Weather Channel. We are your holiday travel headquarters. I'm Jen Carfagno, joined by our storm expert, Dr. Greg Postel. Now, we're not done with the severe threat either. We've been following scenes in Alabama from earlier. This is in Mount Olive.
So would you say that this is the same storm that we just saw the video of roll through Atlanta earlier in its life cycle?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was exactly what it looked like, just rain sweeping down the street. You can see it actually in the car lights right there.
We saw some storm damage, storm reports out of eastern Alabama this morning with downed trees a lot. And that was the same line. So we was warned along the entire way. So kudos to the Weather Service for getting that out there. We were warned here in Atlanta that a severe thunderstorm was on the way.
The strongest wind I saw from that was 54 miles per hour at the Birmingham airport. And so that's not severe, but we could actually get into severe weather later today.
I think we have another chance, especially in some areas, especially farther to the south in southern Alabama and southern Georgia later on today. Something to watch.
Yeah, now rain is only going to add to the mess.
They're showing you that the area is still at risk for seeing some severe weather, including maybe a tornado or two does exist in Mississippi.
Yeah. Gusting winds are probably the biggest risk, but you can't rule out some rotation. Welcome back in to America's Morning Headquarters. I'm Jen Carfagno alongside Greg Postel, and we've been following this risk of thunderstorms getting a little feisty out there. Earlier, there was a squall line that moved all the way through Alabama, Georgia, even into South Carolina, and it actually did some damage.
It did. Let's have a look at some of those pictures. I think this one is a brief tornado.
Indeed. And we also have some snowfall that's taking over the Dakotas and now Minnesota. This is our latest winter storm, or the first winter storm named for the season, Winter Storm Alston. And we are getting the snow now moving in through much more of northern Minnesota. Duluth, our temperatures have dropped to 34. We've been mixing more and more from rain to snow, and that changeover will happen soon. Under a winter storm warning in Duluth, and not unexpectedly, we now have a blizzard warning out there. It looks like in northeast South Dakota, including around the Aberdeen area. These winds have been no joke. The winds in western South Dakota gusting 60, 70 miles per hour. So winds, very strong winds blowing around that snow is going to be a travel concern through this evening, especially through, obviously, South Dakota, but through Minnesota into Wisconsin. It's a strong low pressure. And that low pressure, that strong low, is part of the reason for the strong gusty winds, but it also draws in the colder air. So temperatures dropping pretty quickly. And the reason for those winter storm warnings is the snow and the wind and the risk of a flash freeze, and that creates some very dangerous conditions on the roadways. We'll get into some of the bigger snowfall totals once we work in the lake effect snow, which will pick up starting later tonight into tomorrow. So here we go, watching for the snowfall from the system itself. And then as we get through the day tomorrow, you'll see some of that lake effect start to kick in, and that will be a story that we follow through your Thanksgiving day. And then there's another winter storm. But really, they've been doing that with this weekend snowstorm that we're going to talk about next. So obviously, snowstorm going on right now, but there's another one that comes in for the second half of the weekend. The cold air will be in place. Greg talked about that. You can see the dip in the jet stream. That's providing the cold air. So when this next system, which comes out of the Pacific, it's actually bringing the rain into Washington and Oregon. This one dives down here into the front range of the Rockies, the high plains. It's a strong low. It's a classic winter storm, and we'll follow the low, and we'll follow that for the areas that will have some of the biggest snow chances. Right just adjacent and north and west of the track of the low is typically the spot that gets the biggest and most intense snowfall, but it'll be widespread. I mean, we're going to have a warm front lifting north. We're going to be looking at that to be one of the features as well that will trigger some snowfall. It all happens late Friday into early Saturday, and by Saturday morning we have some snow spreading out across the northern plains, the Colorado Rockies, Denver. This could be your first snow of the season. So this is the GFS model. I want to point that out because the models, while they've been wildly different, they've come together a little bit, but they're still not exactly the same. This particular track of the low moves it up through the western lakes, does bring some snow to Chicago. And then as we get into Sunday evening, things wrap up. But boy, the whole weekend is kind of dealing with this here, both Saturday and Sunday. The European model forecast also does Denver snow, so we've got that, but it's a different track. You can see it goes through Chicago and then actually brings more rain to spots like Detroit So it does matter. The track of the low certainly does matter as to who's going to get into some of the biggest of snowfall and where exactly that rain snow line is. So stay tuned and pay attention to the forecast and changes in the forecast. We'll be following them right here on the Weather Channel through the holiday and into the weekend to make sure you have what you need to stay safe when it comes to travel. Another piece of this weekend storm will be rain and maybe even thunderstorms. Rain could be heavy. Plan for that Saturday and Sunday through the south.